Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to build your Paladin in Baldur's Gate 3. So Paladin is one of the most strong classes in this game. It can do an insane amount of damage and it is kind of like an easy mode without putting it on Explorer. Now we're going to start with really any race. It's up to you. This is a role-playing game, so whatever you prefer, but I just run with my human character here. Now we're just going to roll with the Paladin. I'll go all 12 levels in Paladin. Now I started with the Oath of Vengeance there, and I find that this is the most offensive version of the Paladin, so I prefer to use that one. And it has a bit more of a fun gameplay in terms of your dialogue options as well. So first things first, we get our level 1 spell slots, and we get Divine Smite, which is kind of our main damage dealer. You really just want to use your spell slots on this skill here. What's nice about it is if you miss, you don't use a spell slot. That's huge. So for our fighting style, we're going to go with Great Weapon Fighting. So What's this all about is when you roll 1 or 2 damage dice with a 2-handed melee attack, that die is re-rolled once, so you aren't going to roll a low number on there, which is good. It makes it so that you're going to hit more damage, which is something we always want, so we're going to go with that. Dueling is not great at all. Defense can be good, depends if you're a defensive player, and protection is good if you have a shield, but we're going with Great Weapon Fighting to use 2-handed weapons because that's what deals the most damage. That's what we really care about. Next, we're going to go for spells. We're going to use Command. Command is really powerful and can help you do a lot of different things. We're going to take off Bless because that's kind of your cleric's job. I like to add in the Searing Smite as well as Thunderous Smite, as they can add a bit of extra damage, as it's really important to have different types of damage for different resistances. Compelled Duel you can use to make sure the targets select only your character to fight. We're just going to go with all 3 smites just to have some variety in terms of damage, because paladins can be crazy when it comes to damage. Cure Wounds and Command, 2 great spells there. Now we're going to go to our next level, level 3, which can give more health, blah blah blah. As we go into our spells, we get one more extra one here. So Shield of Faith is pretty good if you want to use your concentration on that. Compelled Duel is good as well, so it's really just what you prefer. I think that Heroism is a pretty good one because it gives you that temporary health points, but it's really up to you what you think works best. All these are concentrations, so just depends what you want to spend your concentration on. I'm going to put it as Compelled Duel just to have some extra defensive options there. And next we're going to go to level 4 here. This is where we get our Lay Hands charges, which are very powerful for healing, especially if you're in close range to your teammates. Protection from good and evil is decent. Doesn't really matter too much. We're going to change out our spells later on. This is when we get to choose a feat, and this is how you really make your build. So for the first one, we're going to go with the not Weapon Master. Where is it here? We're going to roll with the Great Weapon Master. So when you land a critical hit with a melee weapon, you can use another attack that turn, which is crazy. So if you kill someone or get a critical hit, you get a free extra attack. This can be very powerful, especially if you're in close around a lot of enemies. We also get a -5 to our attack roll, so we're less likely to hit, but we get a +10 damage, which is really powerful. So I like the Great Weapon Master. Not everyone likes it. You can turn this off, so you can toggle it on and off, but we're going to leave it on because the amount of damage you get is pretty good, especially at late game when you're hitting most things likely. Next, level 5. We're going to prepare our spells here. And I like Aid. We'll take off these 2 here. Branding Smite and Magic Weapon can have their uses. I will throw Branding Smite on. Depends where you're at. If you got a lot of invisible enemies, this can be used to stop that, make them quit it. And then Heal will increase your health points by 5, or Lesser Restoration will remove disease or poison. I have my Cleric doing that, so I'm just going to add Aid. It's a nice little thing to have a little extra health with. So we'll accept that for that level up. Then we're going into level 6 here, and this is where we get another action. We get our Aura of Protection. Now this gives us a nice ability to our saving throws. It says +0, but it adds your charisma modifier to that, so you can get a nice +3 or +4 to your saving throws, which is huge. We want that a lot. It saves you from getting some bad conditions. Saving throws will prevent you from getting any of these negative effects that skills use. So next, I'll add Magic Weapon. It has a +1 bonus attack and damage rolls. You can really use whatever you like. We can swap these out at another level, so we'll go ahead here. Paladin has a lot of useful skills, so We're gonna go ahead here, level 7, we get Relentless Avenger. If you hit an enemy with an opportunity attack, your movement speed increases by 5 meters in your next turn. It's pretty nice for mobility. As a paladin, mobility is huge since you need to get in melee range to get most damage out. So anything that increases our mobility, huge win. So if you got any items or any types of spells to increase your movement speed, I recommend using them because it's going to make a big difference. And again, as we go up, the spells we can choose doesn't really matter. The biggest ones are obviously Divine Smite. Everything else we use in different occasions. Cure Wounds is nice to have. For our second feat, we're going to go through here. There's a few different ones that we could use. If you're someone that wants to increase your strength or dexterity, we can go with that. Now, if you can see, my strength's really low. The reason for that is you can get an item that's going to boost it all the way up. I'm using the Hilt Giant Gloves here, which gives you 23 strength. So we can dump that. But for early game, it's important to have your strength decently high. You can roll with that there. We want to make sure that our charisma is like an 18 or a 20 or 22. That's the most optimal. So we can use different things for our feats here. Adding in armor proficiency with heavy armor, not very useful here, but the heavy armor master is what I meant to click on there. So increase your strength by 1 and also decreases non-magical attacks by 3 while wearing heavy armor, which is a paladin. That's what you're going to be doing. So that's a pretty useful one. It can depends what type of weapon you're using. If you're using a pole arm, then this one's really good because it can give you an opportunity attack. And a paladin with two-handing pole arm, crazy powerful. I'm currently in my current game running Minthara with that, and I think it works really well. Sentinel, another really good useful attack. When an enemy goes into range, you can use a reaction to attack that enemy, and you have an advantage on opportunity attacks, so that's pretty powerful itself. It really just depends what you're going for in terms of your build. So there's a lot of different ones. A lot of people use the ability improvement to increase your attributes, which is good, but there's items that will help overcome that. I think the best for this would be something like the Sentinel or Savage Attacker. So these two are pretty powerful. Savage Attacker is when you make a melee attack, you reroll your damage twice and use the highest result. So you'll just straightly across the board deal more damage. No one cannot benefit from that. Polearm Master is nice too if you're using like a halberd or quarterstaff or glaive. But I think that I get most benefit out of Sentinel. So we're gonna roll with that. Gives you the vengeance there. Very useful, especially if you're at the front lines. You're gonna be using this quite a bit, so it's powerful. Next level 9. This is our health gonna continue to increase here, and we're gonna prepare our spells. We get level 3 spells now. Revivify is nice. Elemental Weapon. I like to take off some of my lower level ones. I've started to put them on here. Remove Curse can be a very powerful skill. You want to make sure at least one person's using it. Blinding Smite can have its benefits. Elemental Weapons, another concentration that we could use. Crusader's Mantle, another useful level 3 spell. I like Warden of Vitality too. That's another really good one that you can cast. Restore Vitality. It adds another spell to your toolbar there, and you can heal yourself and enemies without using up any spell slots, which is good. We're gonna go with Remove Curse though, because that can be very powerful. And we'll get another level up here, going to level 10. So there's only 2 more after this one. More lay hands charges, and we get another skill. We get an Aura of Courage, so you can't be frightened. These are easy. You can just pop these up and they stay permanent. So I recommend using them at all times because it's just, you're given it, you may as well use it. And it doesn't make a difference if you use it or not. So use it. Next level up, you can really choose what level 3 ones you want, but I think that these are kind of the way that I like to lean. Just really depends. Daylight can be okay, but you might already have skills that allow you to do that. So our final level here, level 12, this is where we get our final feat, which, if I'm being honest, I think I get more benefit out of multi-class and Paladin with Warlock. The Padlock's a really powerful combination. For here, you can use, it really just depends. Crossbow extra is pretty nice. I really personally like the sniper one when you use 2-hand crossbows. That can be very powerful. But it's down to you what you really want to flesh out your paladin as. So this one here is kind of like what we used earlier, where you get the -5 to attack rolls plus 10 damage. If you're using 2 crossbows, this can be a crazy amount of damage. I prefer someone like Astarion, who's a rogue, maybe mixed with a hunter, to use that, but it is an option for us. And Warcaster can be decent if we're someone that's going to be using our concentrations often, because this will give you an advantage on saving throws. So that's really huge. Tough can be good if you want a little extra health. So that's just an extra 24 health right there at max level. Really nice to have, but not necessary. Mage Slayer can be another really good one. Heavy Armor Master, though, I found that to be pretty good, because if you find you're dying a lot as you're up front, you might benefit from Heavy Armor Master, which is going to give you better defenses. It's really just up to you what you think you need for this final feat. As I said, I think it works a little bit better if you multi-class the Paladin, but it's really just up to you what you prefer in terms of building and what you find that your weaknesses are. Alert is another really good one. On my current playthrough, I'm using this. +5 to initiative is huge, so you can start off just by blasting attacks, which is really great. But also ability improvement is a nice one. If you think that you need an extra 2 points, it can be very useful there. But yeah, we're just gonna go with alert. I think this one works really well. And there it is, the Paladin build. Now I'll show off my equipment just quickly here. But the Gauntlets of the Hill Giant strength are great. They set your strength to 23, which is beautiful because you can just dump your strength. And something like Killer Sweetheart's nice. You get whenever you hit an attack, it'll be a critical attack, which is huge, especially with Divine Smite. I was able to one-shot Ornn with this build, so it works really well. I am using 2 weapons right now, but I should have this swapped out for a Greatsword. And there we go. There's my build. I like to use the Reaper's Embrace, but it really just depends what you think for your build. The Birthright hat is really nice too, with a +2 charisma. So there it is. That's my build in Baldur's Gate 3 for Paladin. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button below.